My name is Bina Bendale. I have been doing corporate nursing now for 3 years. I have now officially signed, not that I make this much money, just the value of all my worth in the corporate business side. I have now crossed $10 million in corporate sales, which is about 5 or 10, 20, about 8 different contracts, which all have said yes. A lot of my people that have been in my containers have now at least have a 70 to 80% rate of closing contracts. And all it is about human connections. There is nothing separate that what I do. The only thing about what's different from me is I keep it real. I speak my mind. And like, I'm here to help you push it out. And I always tell people, I want you guys all to make more money than I do. That has always been my goal. And how do we help the most impact with doing less work? And I think that comes in a lot of us that are doing one-on-one work and one-on-one strategy. It's great, but there is a lot of silent strategies to winning corporate clients. Even if you're new to business, and even if you're at a level where I'm at, or at a level on different things, there's always a silent strategy to doing winning contracts, which we'll be talking about here in this presentation. So here, we're going to be talking about behind the scenes tactics of how I approach clients. These are my real messaging. These are my real frameworks. What you see is what you get. I'm going to give you guys step-by-step process with real examples and then an action plan for you guys to implement completely today and for you guys to be sustainable even by Monday or Tuesday of next week. All right. So the silent struggles in your business is facing is a lot of people are focused more on the vanity matrix. And what I mean by that, people are more focused on the likes, the followers, how many Instagram views they got, their social media, all this other crap. And instead of making those real life connections, the other thing is they're not consistent. Inconsistency of not showing up online is the number one downfall. And the reason why I say that is if we look at social media as our business platform, and I don't care what social media you're using, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, what is there, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook. I think I'm missing something. What am I missing? Oh, Threads.
YouTube.
There's a list. I think there's 10. I'm missing 3.
People
But
also use Medium to put
there's all these other
articles
ones,
down.
blogs. There's some other ones that are out there. But my point is that you have to be consistent. Be consistent with what you're doing and learn a platform very well. I highly recommend everybody, but a lot of people in my program knows this, is LinkedIn and YouTube is really where it's going to expand in this world. Not that against IG or any other social media platforms. It is just their algorithms changes all the time. And then there's a whole new things behind it. And then you're not optimizing your profile and the strategy to target what you want to sell. You can't sell yourself. That is illegal. So you're selling a program or you're selling a product or you're selling a service. Okay. So I have to remind people, but you have to sell something. And if we're in a service-based practitioners, like we're all like in a coaching world, we are selling a service. But if we are selling a service, we need to know exactly what that service is, the ins and outs and everything about it. So all over our social medias, we exactly know what we're talking about. So a lot of the times, what is holding you back? A lot of the times it's unclear. You're not clear with how to optimize your platform. You're not clear, or it's outdated. You did it like maybe 5, 6 years ago. Or you come up and you're like, I'm just not 100% sure. A lot of the times is that you are not fully identified with your niche. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit because when I ask a lot of nurse coaches or a coach, hey, what is your offer? And they'll tell me this big old long drawn out conversation. I think I offer this. I think I do that. And there's a lot of hesitations. And so if you are not clear with what target or what your service is providing, it's going to be very confusing for your target audience. Inconsistent posting or failure to post. A lot of times people think posting is hard. Social media has to be fun. Your business has to be fun. Okay. When you play these games, I turn social media into a game. Hey, which post can go viral? Which post can be more? What can come here? If I make it fun, then I'm going to want to post. If I turn this into, ugh, I'm posting again, then I'm not going to want to post. So really, these are the four main things that are holding people back. The other one is approaching leads with these salesy messages instead of value-driven conversation. Now, how many of you can identify for at least one or four of these things? Yeah. What's one? You guys can go all off mute, unmute. It's fine. What is the one thing that's holding you guys back?
Inconsistent posting, failing to post at all.
Yeah.
Same.
What's stopping you from posting every day?
Content. I'm worried that I'm not posting anything that's of interest. And then I start overthinking it. And then I get overwhelmed and I shut down. And I'm like, this is stupid.
I overthink it also. It's the whole being of the perfection deal as opposed to just going out and posting it. But what I find is when I do post it and it surprises me, oh snap, I got, all these responses, people are commenting, there's interactions.
Okay. What happens if I just do this? Hi. And I just post that. How easy was that? Which I'm literally posting right now. Was that difficult?
No, but it was messy. That's what stops me. I have a phone full of content, literally a phone full of content.
No, I know
it's
you
like,
do.
oh, I gotta edit this. I gotta do this. I gotta do that.
Do you see how easy you can make it or how difficult you can make it? That's literally up on my story right now. When we're doing it, we need to remember that when we are talking about social media and consistent posting, use it for your own benefit. Like, don't worry about what the other people are going to do. Worry about what you're going to say and be unapologetic about it. Because if people are going to resonate with you, they're going to resonate with you as a person. They're going to resonate you with who you are. Like, what with me is what you get. Like, how you see me on social media is literally what you see me in person. There is no different Bina in any other room. So don't be somebody else. When you're trying to be somebody else, that's when we're overthinking it, and that's what holds us back. But if we're unapologetic, I don't have makeup on. I just literally just clipped my hair in a pony, like a little clip today. I just put black on. That's all I did. I still have my pajama pants on. Don't make it hard. Like, just post the good, the bad, the ugly. Because guess what? The good, the bad, the ugly is what makes you most vulnerable. That's what makes you most compelling. I haven't even posted what's been going on behind the scenes in my life this week because it's been a little crazy. But when that does come out, and not that I was doing it, it was just because there was just a lot behind the scenes this week. But like when I do talk about it and when I do come up, it comes from a very vulnerable place. And it doesn't matter what comes out of my mouth, because if I'm offending somebody or if I'm worried about offending somebody, that's a them problem. And congratulations, you've hit a target that you've hit somebody in a nail, and you're like, let's talk about that. Let's have a conversation. So don't be worried about pissing people off, is my point. It's okay. It's good. Actually, just don't get kicked off social media. Listen to the community standards, okay? I've gotten kicked off before too. Plenty of times. So the problem with traditional outreaching is people feel that it's spam. People feel like you're spamming them. It's this generic pitches that turns you off. There's no trust. There's no response. Cold emails, lost in noise. How many of you guys get these cold emails or cold pitches and things? And you're just like, ugh. I know I still do. And I'm just like, oh. And now what I do is I reply, I was like, no, thank you, but I appreciate the conversation. Because it's like, they're doing exactly what other people are trying to do. So the number one thing when we're introducing this particular strategy, it really is this simple. Connecting without pitching. A connection meaning, hi, Cassandra, how are you? How's life going? I see spark behind you. What is that? Engaging conversations. Even when you came on the call, where I was like, how are you? What are you really doing? You're an OR nurse, you're traveling, you want to quit by June. But do you see how I have all that in memory now? Provide value. Ask before asking anything. Give them something of value. And all it could be offering is your silence and a place for them to have a conversation. That goes a long ways, a very long way. And nurture the conversations. And when I mean by nurture, like really go on and say, if I'm following Richard and he had a bad day yesterday, I'm not saying that he did, just saying if Richard had a bad day yesterday, if I'm nurturing Richard as a conversation, I'd be like, Richard, I noticed yesterday's post. I saw that you were having a really bad day. You know what? If you ever need to talk or hear anything, can you like reach out to me? I'm here. Richard would be more inclined to respond to me than if I know he's on social media and like we're saying something else. And the win is always building that trust first. As long as they trust you, as long as you can repeat it, as long as you're giving value of what it is that they want, they're going to automatically, you're going to win. They're going to value that. They're going to want to jump on a call with you. And they're not going to feel like, oh my gosh, he's going to sell me something, blah, 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 which is fair, but then be honest about it too. Heart-centered conversations. So building trust and heart-centered conversations, I don't care where you are, and that's why we put and social media. We're going to be talking more about LinkedIn today, just in general, because that's where we are. Yes, I am highly on IG, but you won't see a lot of this stuff on IG or Facebook. A lot of my stuff and content is going to be more on LinkedIn, and we're going to be pushing out our YouTube channel in the next 2 or 3 weeks as well. So be on the lookout for that. But you want to build your LinkedIn. You want to build your online expertise. This is where you want to have a professional profile, top insights, talk about tips, small wins. Hey, you guys, a small win in my world is I took a shower today and celebrate the shit out of that. How many moms out there did not get a shower in today? There's a lot of moms that didn't, you know, or I got out of bed, or I went out, I made it through the school parking lot without getting killed. Those are real life. Those are real wins in my world, by the way. It's like, oof, dodge that bullet, or someone's going to kill me in there. It's like going through warp zone in that. But talk about those wins. Make them known, but also show your expertise online. So what are you the expert in? And talk about it, relate about it, write articles, engage, interact with your target clients' posts. So if you have 20 people that you're targeting, go on those 20 people's LinkedIn profiles and comment, engage. It'll take 15 minutes a day, I promise. That's all it takes. If you're on 15 minutes a day, get out. Ask Damien. I tell him this all the time. 30 minutes tops and he's out. It is true. And soft pitching. Focus on helping and listening. Don't offer advice unless they ask for it. Don't come in and overtake a conversation. Sometimes, like I said, listening, just saying, hey, how's it going? Here's my stuff. And leave it and see where it goes. And I'm going to show you guys examples of what I mean by this. But so far helpful, or do we have questions? No? Okay.
Super helpful.
Okay. So
Helpful. Bina, one point.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said on the LinkedIn,
Yeah.
show life. What I've been seeing on quite a few of the just LinkedIn pages and people that I follow, when people do post that, there's a lot of clap back on that. Oh, this is a business platform. Why are we posting about and what these people, what you said, the moms or whoever, whatever they're going through. Yeah, this is what happened today, or they're remembering something, and then there's a lot of clap back on this is just for business. Why this is turning into Facebook, blah blah blah. And I know
Now,
that's
are
a
these
them
people
problem.
you're actually engaged in, or is this just a hearsay?
No, this is what I'm seeing.
Correct. But are these the
So-
people who you're engaged with LinkedIn telling you this, or is just a general comment?
These are general comments on it that I see. And it's not, like I said, it's not just on one person's profile or their post. It's come up on several ones now that I'm just starting to see that trend
Yeah.
with that on LinkedIn.
Then they're not your client.
Okay.
They're just not your client. If they don't understand it, they're not your client. Like they don't need to be on LinkedIn. If they don't like it, they can get off. That
Okay.
seems like a them problem,
Okay.
not a you problem. Because with LinkedIn, you're building relationships, and yes, it's very business. And I think what I love about LinkedIn is you have to post only once a day. That's it. Once a day. And 20 connections a day. Don't do any more, otherwise you'll get a little slap on the wrist. Okay. I know. And with LinkedIn, you can talk about something personal and then relate it to whatever business strategy you're doing. So Supermom CEO, going through the kids, you guys see my post about the kids drop-offs. I'm like, whoo, came out alive with that. And then those are like, when I go back, is those like the silent struggles. How many moms out there feel like their life is in jeopardy every time we go through that? Or how many of us are rushing and they see that and there's people behaving badly on these parking lots and going, or how many of us see people being greedy? They're just cutting in front of the line just to be in the line. Or how many of you guys see people using the handicap placard again, just because they want to drop off their child? And they're like, but I'm just only going to be here for a minute. I just need to leave. And I'm like, girl or boy, driver, I have a handicap placard. Get the fuck off. Go around like everybody else. Right? So you can utilize your post, but also utilize it for your global impact. What is your greater mission? What is your greater stance? Because if you're using it for a voice, then these people who are talking like that, Damien, they're not your people. And I know you're cooking too. So crafting a powerful headline. And the formula is here so you guys can do it. And on these ones, you really want to showcase you. Do not be scared. And I don't know if it's me, but it looks like my picture's blurry. Is that just from the copy or is it really blurry? Can we just double check that? Sorry. While my team is on, we just double check that because it looks blurry on my end. Make sure you don't have a blurry picture on. Mine's look blurry, so we're double checking that. But your role, who you help, and your unique value. And in the, like right here in this little area, write down who you are. Corporate nurse, employee retention, supermom CEO, helping parents with special needs. But your picture, do not be scared to go big and bold. Take up space. Don't leave the logos up. Ask Richard. I just did his the other day. Like I made it big and bold.
Oh,
You know?
most definitely big and bold.
Yeah. He was like, really? That big? And I'm like, yep, that big. He goes, okay. Because you want to be seen. You know, you want to be seen and you want to have a forward facing picture. So it's inviting. The funniest thing is this white picture of me in white, which I know is plastered everywhere. And I think it's plastered on the Nurse Coach Collective somewhere too. I took this from, this was a selfie my 5-year-old did at the time. Kid you not. Turned out great. And then a professional photographer who we found on Snapper or something, she took a picture and my 5-year-old daughter literally took the camera from her. She goes, sure, comes in and this is the photo we got. So it doesn't have to be fancy. Okay. Like it's fine. Yeah, this other one was a little bit more expensive, but the one that everyone knows about is from my 5-year-old taking the Snapper's photo, taking a picture of me, and it's the one that we use for everything. Point is, you can also take your cell phone, go in a nice background. You guys seen some new pictures of me up? Those are all on my phone, portrait mode, selfies. Don't have to worry about paying for thousands and thousands of dollars of brand shots. Okay. Okay. Again, talking about this again, heart-centered conversations. Your LinkedIn banner is prime real estate for your branding messages. So if they go on your LinkedIn and they don't stop at your banner, guess what? You've lost them. So just think about when you're going and buying a house or renting an apartment or renting something, right? You walk in, if you feel the energy, you're either you're going to look around or you're really going to look around, right? And if you don't like it, guess what? You're walking right out. You're going to be like, nope, don't like this. I'm out. So think of it as your banner as the same type of branding. So you need the tagline, make sure it's short and powerful. Use examples, like mine example is big, bold, that says the silent struggle solution. Helps leadership with burnout, professional imaging, high quality. Yo, telling you, iPhones here, these new Galaxy phones, they make great quality photos. Okay, don't spend thousands of dollars if you don't. If you can, do it. If not, just you're able to do that. Logo and branding, make sure it's relevant, make sure it's up there. Website call to action. These are just different stuff that I'm showing you guys on how to make it comes up, but I want to skip a little bit more because I want to talk a little bit more of like optimizing. So heart center connections, really talk about what your service is, what you're doing. So that way when people are engaged or when you're asking questions, Damien, I'm just going to use you because I know you're doing these Joyride videos. You know what, Damien, I saw your video yesterday. It was super grateful. Thank you. That really made my impact. Now, Damien doesn't know who I am at this point. He now goes on my LinkedIn. He looks me up and he goes, oh, dude, this is really great. Like, I would love to learn more about you. Now, Damien might message me back and go, you know what, Bina, this is really interesting. Can you tell me more about your corporate wellness? I would love to learn more about what you do and how do you help employees retain? See how that's not a sleazy conversation? And maybe Damien's a big HR CEO and he wants to know more information. I don't know that. Or he can be someone else that's asking me questions, but the minute that they still asked me the question, it's a heart-centered conversation. Now, my response might be like, this is great, because again, number one thing I tell people is you want to get them on a call, right? We can go back and forth, but our biggest goal is to get them on a call. Be like, hey, you know what, Damien? I would love to talk to you more about the employee retention side. Do you have 15 minutes for a coffee chat? Do you have 15 minutes in the day? Do you have 20 minutes in a day? I'd love to set up a time. Here's my calendar link. Let me know. It's easy as that. Because he's already looked at my profile and he already knows what he's looking for. Does that make sense?
Yep.
The about section is really who you are. Okay? And I'll send this to you guys. This is the way that we have structured it. This is the 5 steps that I have learned that works the best. I have also vetted this with a couple of people who are very well known in the LinkedIn forum, right? People, introduce yourself. People forget. What is your name and who are you? Don't assume they know who you are. And if you think they know who you are, like I have friends from my high school, they have reached back out to me and they go, man, this is so much more different than who I met you 15 years ago or 30 years ago now. Tell them your personal story. Don't be scared to be vulnerable here. Tell them why you are who you are. So this is where your mission statement comes. This is where your global impact comes, why it comes in. Like mine is in there. What problem are you solving? What are your solutions? And then your call to action. Here I literally just am talking about the membership. And that's why, because I put the lowest ticket on here. And then if people are interested in the higher ones, they can ask me. But I don't need to put everything on here. It's just enough to intrigue. All we're doing is giving enough intriguement. And this works for corporate clients as well. Okay. And then I'm not going to go too much into Sales Navigator. How many of you guys know about Sales Navigator? No? Cassandra? So Cassandra, it's Sales Navigator is where you can find your prospect and your clientele. So if you go under, it's a paid subscription, so you do have to pay additional for that. But in the courses that I do, we do teach you how to utilize it. So if you see like already here, you can put your leads and then lead gens literally pop up. And then you're able to save them and have conversations with them. So this might be your 20 people that you connect with a day, 15 minutes, and then you're out.
Okay.
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 So it's just a way to like really give you like a structure of who you want to talk to and the types of companies you want to lead to. Like here, I put resource manager, director, chief of people, San Francisco Bay Area. These are 2 people that popped up. This one's in Richmond. This one's in San Jose. So if I hit saved, then I can message them directly, or I would go onto their website, onto their LinkedIn and start engaging in their post. So they'd be the top 20 people. So if you're wondering, like, how do I know my 20 people? This is how we can find them.
Okay.
Companies, who you want to work for in your area. I know you're traveling, but depending on where you are, like say right now you're in Oregon. Where are you right now? What state?
I'm in Illinois.
Illinois. Okay. But say you're doing an assignment in Illinois, you can put specifically Illinois. And while you're doing a traveling assignment, you can start making those connections in the state that you're in. So you're planting seeds, even though you're at bedside, you're still planting your seeds as you go. And then you can do different meetups. There's different things we can do for that, which we'll also talk about. It's just a very good strategy. So that way people are like, they have more direction and they have more focus of what it is they want to do. And so those ones you can do corporate events, event attendees, like there's a whole list of slews of what you can and can't do here. This would take a whole nother, like that's a whole nother, like, a whole nother webinar. Okay. This is literally the key when you're connecting is messaging. That is the key. These are literally what we write. You can take a screenshot. This is literally what we write. This is what you probably, some of you guys got this in your inbox. This is literally what we have learned, and this is what worked for me. You will have to learn what works for you. Okay. Wording might be a little different. It has to be in your tone. It needs to be in your language, in your slang. However you talk is what you want here. It does not necessarily have to be professional. These ones are the ones who comes up, and I said, thinking, learning about your journey is something I would say, hey, we have a mutual friend. And you'd be surprised with it. It doesn't sound sleazy. I would love to connect, share strategies to see what's worked with my clients in similar places. So it's just a connecting piece. So they're not like that, those people who try to sell you shit that you don't need. Yeah. And then follow-ups. How many of you follow-ups is just like here I said, would you be open to a quick 15-minute chat next week or later today? Or can we meet up for, I encourage Damien and Richard to do a lot of in-person. So a lot of times I'll be like, meet up. If you can meet up with them in person, do it. So like Cassandra, if you're around and they're like messaging you and you're at a coffee shop somewhere, you can just have 3 or 4 people meet you at different intervals at a coffee shop. And be like, hey, I'm going to be here at this place. I would love to just have coffee. Maybe you have 3 cups of coffee that day. Maybe 1. I don't know. Whatever you need. But do you see how like it's just you're able to do that because a lot of people want to get out of their house. They do. A lot of people want to get out of the house. I know I do. So following up is key. 95% of your business is not from the initial contact. 95% of your business is from following up. That is where you're going to make your money. Unless you have some fast action deal people that are like, yep, I want to work with you. And they comes in. But even then, the only person, and I believe she's on this call, is Martha. She called me up one day, literally, and it was just like, I want to work with you. And I'm like, okay. But she also knew me from another container. So it wasn't like a cold. I've only had one cold person in 3 years. One who has called me up and saying, I want to pay you. I think back then it was $1,500 for 8 sessions. She paid me in full. And she goes, I want to work with you because I heard about you from X, Y, and Z. One person out of now, I think I've coached over 400 or 500 people. One has ever done that for me. So follow-ups is key. That is where 95 or 98% of your business lies, is in the follow-ups. And again, you have to, these are offers that you can do like freebies and stuff, which we talk about in the program. We talk about this in our memberships, like giving them value, giving them what they're going to do. Okay. Or I know Damien is going into wanting to become an Airbnb inspector. So here are free resources. Here's the 5 tips I can give you. Like that you can do right here, right now, that's going to make your house safe so that people can't sue your ass. Literally. And I would probably say that would save you from being a lawsuit. That would spark someone's attention, right? This one is a little bit, it's only 20 follow-ups. It's 95% of your business and how you make your money, but it's only 25% of the job. And what I mean by that is it takes time. It takes time over and over for it to develop. Elite Partners is a great example. I just closed this last Monday. It's a $5 million contract, but it took me 8 months to close. 8 months. From point to close date, it took me 8 months. So don't comes in, like we have to remind ourselves that like follow-ups come in, but we also want to keep it alive. Keep the engagement going. Keep your personal LinkedIn post going. Tag people that you are wanting to connect with. Maybe you had, Cassandra, maybe you had coffee with 3 people. Tag them in your post. Hey, comes in. Engage, use LinkedIn and as engagement posts, which we can teach you guys all again. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. What is it that you would love about this? Using Damien as an example. Hey, how many of you executives on here own an Airbnb as a side income? And how many of you guys believe that your house is safe? Because now on that poll, guess what? Maybe 15, 20 people might say yes. Some people might say no. But those 10 or 15 people who said yes, those are now 10 people that there's 10 leads for Damien. Now, guess what? Those are now his warm leads. Now he's going to message and nurture those ones. Hey, I saw that you wrote yes. I would love to hear more about your Airbnb. Like, where is it? What are you doing? Is it a side income? What are your biggest challenges? I would love to offer you a free workshop that I'm doing on how to maintain safety so your ass don't get sued. That might be a good tagline for you at this point. Literally, like, it's okay to cuss. It's okay to cuss. There's a mentor of mine. What is it? What does he say? The fucking, what is this? Damien? The fucking shit?
Love you.
No, I fucking love you. The
Yeah.
fucking shit that doesn't work. The fucking shit that you don't learn in college or something. There's a lot of fucking shit in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I
You
know.
don't
There's
learn-
I fucking love you. Like he has
You don't
like
learn in
he has a
college.
t-shirt
Yeah.
that says I fucking love you, and he got it like branded and monetized, and because of it. So don't be scared to be yourself if that's what you say. Now, a lot of people might disagree with me on that and they go, that's not very professional. Okay, then find me a CEO or find me a CFO that does not cuss. Because I'm pretty sure they're all there. Or they don't want to talk about it. Or they have to be professional. And then maybe that's another post. How many people feel like you can't cuss and they find that inappropriate? Again, that would be a topic. Actually, that might be a great topic, team. Yeah, there's a topic I'm just going to do for there'll be a LinkedIn topic for that now. No. Daily things. This is literally what I do 15 minutes a day. I engage with new clients, driven PMs, 20 people a day. Yes, I have a team, but guess what? It is me in the DMs. Unless it's not me in the DMs, and then they'll let you know if it's not me in the DMs. Comment thoughtfully. And what I mean by that is I was on Facebook earlier and there was this, I was in another group, and this one girl or this lady posted that she is meeting with the CNO, I think today. And the CNO was like, I want to know numbers and I want to know this. And how does that work? Or how do we pay you? Was the question. All these people started giving free advice, which is great. And then I messaged the person back going, you know what? There's 2 ways to go about this. I would ask the CNO more questions. I would ask the CNO, do you want a 1099 contractor or are you trying to create a role? Because it comes from 2 different budgets, right? When you talk about payment, and if you're a nurse on staff saying, then I bill you, you pay my extra hours and it goes into my paycheck. It's really not that complicated. But you have to ask questions. So on that thoughtful comment, I told them what I had to say. And at the end of it, I said, congratulations for even having this. It's a first conversation and it's going to take you a couple of weeks for this to even go anywhere, especially in the hospital setting. And so I said, if you need any more insight comes in, message me, call me, message me, however it is. And they were like, oh my God, thank you. They're like, we thought we had to have numbers right here and right now. I said, why? Because he asked you for numbers? I said, no, they asked you, how would you like to get paid? They didn't ask you for numbers. You thought in your head that you were looking for numbers. Oh my God, I need to know numbers. I need to, no, just answer the questions that they ask. And then if you ask them those questions or answer them and say, I'm just curious, how does one contractor get paid in your hospital? You're telling me that they don't know how to get paid, contractors? Let's be real. Then we got a bigger problem in healthcare or in any company. So remember that. But when you're commenting thoughtfully, choose posts that are ideal, leave insight, or just leave, hi, how's it going? Okay. Post once a day. Share tips, resources, wins that resonates with your audience, travel plans, whatever it is. Post once a day. A lot of people ask me, and I can share this publicly. Carrie Hall is a meteorologist here locally. She works for NBC. And she posted on her wall about her daughter needing a G-tube and how her daughter was autistic and was really nervous and really scared. So I messaged and commented on her, and I started sharing Rohan's progress. My eldest is now not nonverbal anymore. The kid can't shut up for anything anymore. But he does still have a G-tube, and we had a lot of challenges when he was younger, globally delayed with dysphagia and all these other with all these other challenges. And I started sharing her my story. Okay. Started sharing, this is what's happened to me. I'm a nurse. Just because I was a nurse, people treated me as if I knew what the hell I was doing. And I looked at everyone going, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. I'm a mom. I'm scared. Like, you're talking to me as a nurse, and it's just like, whoof, out the door. Like, let's move the panic back out. And finally, she reached out to me. And then me and her had a conversation. And then we had another conversation. And then she was like, I told her, I was like, it's okay for a G-tube. It's okay for all these things. It just helps reduce the calories so she can have more playtime with food. Like, it's not a negative notation. And whenever they're done, they can remove it. No deal. Like, it's not the end of the world. They just take it off, close it up, it heals. And she goes, that's it? I said, that's it. There is no surgery when you remove it. There's nothing. They can stitch it if they want to, but that's it. So a lot of these fears kicked in, but because I was commenting thoughtfully how I got on a call with her, and this was like 2.5 years ago, and she will mention this to you now, and to this day, we have one of the best relationships. I've been on NBC broadcast multiple times. I've gotten featured as one of the autism awareness person, whatever they called it at that time. I got brought on now 3 times on NBC. And it's because of autism, because we're related together about it. When I had my Supermom CEO event, I told her about it, and I didn't ask her to publicize it at all. She goes, Bina, let's come down to the office. She goes, come down. I want you to meet some people. I said, okay, I'll come down, because I was like, because I'm thinking like NBC. I'm like, holy shit, what are we doing here? What is it? I'm curious. I've always wanted to see the behind the scenes of the newscast. You think it's like some crazy things, and nope, it wasn't at all. Super calm, chill, people drinking coffee. I was like, this is completely different. And she spoke to the director, and me and the director had a conversation about Supermom CEO. Next thing I know, for this live event, they have now broadcasted it for me from that interview that I didn't even know, comes in, and they were just like, so my point is that you don't know where your relationships are going to go. I've never asked her to be a client. I've never asked her to publicize me on NBC, but she has now brought me in as an NBC autism specialist. Whenever there's new things, when autism awareness comes out, they come in, they call me. They go, what are you doing? What's happening in your world right now? And they're like, we're going to feature you again, so be ready. And I was like, oh, okay. So just thoughtful communications, okay? 15 minutes a day, get in, do your 20 connections, Do your 20 posts on different things, and then post and get out. But don't forget to like your post. Okay? That's key. And get out. That's it. Okay? How's that? Any questions so far? All right. I know the ones that are listening in. Any questions?
Nope, all making a ton of sense.
Okay. All right. Networking. How many of you guys like to go to networking events? Because I love them. I hated them.
I love it.
I love them.
Get
You know.
used to them. Yeah.
I used to hate them. I like them now.
Yes. Get used to them. Okay? Your personality shines in a networking event. If people go, you will learn what to say to people if you are a coach and they go, oh, what is it that you do? I tell people I'm a retired ER nurse if I forget. I didn't tell them I quit. I tell them I'm retired. And they're like, damn, how old are you? 41, maybe 42? I turned 42 this year. They go, damn, how did you do that? What are you doing now? Do you see how it automatically sparks what I'm doing now? Like, man, I have 3 parts to my business. I'm an advocate in the autism world. I help with what I do is I really help the silent struggles with corporations and helping them stay in their jobs. And then they're like, oh, what does that mean? I said, what it means is that I'm your new best friend. That's what that means. And honestly, it's a real talk, right? These are real conversations. Now, I might go to somebody else and they might say something and it's completely different. My thing might be I help parents with special needs depending on where I'm at, right? And they might be like, okay, what does that do? And it comes in. So just because you have a multifaceted business doesn't mean you got to talk about all 3 of your businesses. Okay? And at these networking events, the best part about these is that I ask questions about them. I engage and I know everything about them. And then it's more intriguing because then I drop the bombshell of, oh yeah, and I do X, Y, and Z. And then they're like, wait, hold on one second. What do you mean by that? I want to know more. And then it's, oh, you know what? I'm going to show you guys. Then I'm going to be like, guess what? Here's my QR code. Send me your name, send me your number, give me your number. I'll set up a time. Let's have a conversation. Okay? Literally my trick. The more I talk about them, the more I engage about what they do, what's in there, what comes up. The minute they ask me, they go, oh, so what is it that you do? I drop that big bombshell of I'm a retired nurse and I created my own business and whatever it is that comes out of my mouth, it's fluid, nothing rehearsed. I had it rehearsed for many years. And guess what? It comes out every single different time. When I tell them I'm a nurse coach, a lot of them was like, oh, what is a nurse coach? I said, it's literally a life coach and with a whole lot of medical background. We had sex and out came a nurse coach. And we use a holistic approach. Okay. And then they're like, oh, that's really intriguing. And just be like, you know what? Or I asked them, do you want the long version or the short version of what I do? Like, where are we going? But I pull out, guess what? This QR code is like literally my daughter switched up my frame here, but I literally have a QR code on my phone. Okay. It's there. So I don't have to search for it. It comes up, it's on my wallpaper. And that way on this QR code, I'll tell them, be like, you know what, just fill this out. It's easier. Your name, your email address, what company are you working for? And then let's schedule a call. I'll follow up with you in the next 24 hours, or you'll probably automatically get an email in this next 10 minutes because I have it automated and I'll teach you guys more of that. And then guess what? It's all about the follow-ups because now I'm not worried about getting their number or their email or comes in. And if I do take their number, trick of advice, guys, take a selfie, send them your selfie of you and that person, and then send that to their phone and ask them what their name is, put their name in, and then put your name in. So that way, when you do go back to follow it up, it's, oh, I might not remember Cassandra's name, but I might remember what she's wearing. I might remember, I'd be like, oh yes, I remember that girl. She was the one with the green dress that had those beautiful blue eyes. I don't know, I'm just giving an example. Or it was like a conversation that's, because it'll trigger, right? The person's face, the things is going to trigger a memory. And you're like, oh, yes, I'm going to come in. Guess what I'm going to do? I remember you, the green dress with the beautiful blue eyes. How's it going today? You told me about your daughter and I knew you were struggling with her. How is she today? Are we doing better? Are we comes in? But do you see how the follow-up is still very casual? It's just as if you're talking to a friend. You know? And then you can add this LinkedIn banner and things to anywhere else. I'm not going to go too much into the automations and stuff because it can get really overwhelming. But basically is that you can do this. It's all set up where the minute they scan your QR code, they put it in their information, it can automatically send them an email automatically. And then that's when you can go in and nurture those frameworks. I'm showing you guys like how I do my email sequence here. If you're doing it via email, not by text message, Facebook, or LinkedIn. If you're doing LinkedIn, if you gave them your LinkedIn QR code, this is the same exact format for follow-ups. Okay. I know there's a lot on this page. Gonna slow it down here. Any questions so far? And we'll make sure to get this out to you. And just remember, 80% of deals requires 5, if not more, follow-ups. I'm going to give you guys an example. So Elite Partners is a great one. I kid you guys not, come January, I thought she ghosted me. I thought I got ghosted. I was like, damn, I haven't heard from her in 5 weeks. Real talk. And so then she emails me. She's, oh my God, Bina, thank you for all your emails. You know what, girl? I was sick. I had walking pneumonia. My mom got it. My husband got it. Everyone, my kids got it. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But thank you. Let's get on a call. We get on a call. We start talking about it. And then we talk about the letter of intent, all these other stuff, right? And then a week later, she ghosts me again. And I was like, now what? Was my agreement incorrect? Because I did mess up. I am fully dyslexic. So I ended up like doubling up on things. So my team caught it. They go, Bina, you put this twice. And I was like, shit. Crap. Okay. So I redid it. We resent it. And I'm like, here's the real one after sending her like 5 different versions. And I was like, oh. And then in my head, same thing like everybody else. I'm like, dude, that is like so unprofessional of me. What the fuck? Like, why can't I get that and send it out the first time? Comes in. Last week, I had the lovely flu. Shared it with my entire family. Okay. Monday, all the kids were home. And was that St. Patty's? No, that was it was the Monday prior to that. Still haven't heard from her. And I was like, you guys, I just want this deal closed. We need to come in. This is a big thing. I generally don't do this, but on her email, it showed me it had her number on it. So I was just like, barely had a voice. I was like, I'm just going to call her. I called her, and initially she gave me that weird, hi. Oh, yeah. How are you doing? She goes, can I call you right back? And I was like, oh, okay. All right. We're done. That was dumb. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Comes in. Again, do you see all these self-doubts that came in my head? She called me literally an hour and a half later. And she's, Bina, I am so sorry. You could just caught me off guard. I was in the middle of an email. I have your contract here. It is signed. You're going to get it right here, right now. I was supposed to upload it. I didn't realize since I've been off for about a couple of weeks, I didn't realize how behind I was. And you were literally on the top of my thing. So thank you for calling me. And within that, I'm like, can you just send it to me? Let's just make sure I get it. She goes, yeah, here you go. But do you see how you have to be persistent until they say no or fuck off or whatever you want to do? Like until they say that, keep calling, be persistent. And that's how I closed it. Again, second deal I closed while I was sick with no voice. Dome construction was also the same thing. I had COVID. And the lady was like, where have you been? I was like sitting here on the couch in a t-shirt. I had a puppy running up and down. My kids were all young at the time. And she goes, I was like, this is life. And she goes, I appreciate you for showing up. She goes, many other people would have canceled and said they had COVID and had this excuse and blah, 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 blah. She goes, and here you are. I said, and here I am. I was like, I've got a voice, literally in a tank top. My kids are all up. And I said, this is what real life is. And this is the struggles I help to release that social stigma of you have to be perfect. That's how I closed the first $500,000 deal. Kid you not, me and Michelle, we talk about it all the time. And we hear it and she goes, yep, that's true. She really wasn't a tank top. I did no makeup on. My hair was looking like a peacock because the kids were up there. It was not fun, but I showed up. Other thing is to make sure, and you have to think, like create a 1-page flyer, but don't make them big. Make them 5x7. Richard, I think you have yours out. I know you have yours, but make them like 4x6, 4x8. Yeah. Oh, can't see it. Yeah, there it is. It's mixed into your thing. You know why? Because guess what? If it's like a small, oops, you guys, this is what happens. If it's a big 8x10, guess what's gonna happen? They just leave it on the table and they move away, or it gets thrown in the garbage. But if it's a small, like 4x6 or 5x7, it can easily fit. If they're walking around with a journal, which a lot of them are at these conferences, right? This is an easy fit. It hides in their journal. Or it's an easy fit that for males, they are able to just fold it up and they put it in their pocket. Okay. I've learned 8x10s gets thrown away. 4x8s, 4x8s. I think it was the 4x8s what we did last time, Annie. It was a 4x8 is what we did. And I think, Richard, yours is a 5x7, I believe, correct?
Yep, 5x7
Yeah.
with the QR code.
Yeah. Those are the ones that are going to work the best. Okay. And again, these are different things we go over in the membership and or in my cohorts or in any of my containers. We go over this is not how my first this is not how my first page look my first flyer looked like. My first flyer, and this one is for business, but this was one of my first flyers for real life with special kids. Big difference from that. Like I just want to let you know, like from here to that. And I tell people it's your 1-page flyer is a revolving document. It does not have to be perfect and it can change. It's okay. It's okay if it changes. That's the secret. Okay. So, any questions you guys have? I know it was a lot in an hour. So now it's opened up to questions. Any ones you guys have? This is more of the fun part. Ask me anything.
What would you say is the right interval between a first message and a first follow-up? Because I know when I think about following up to someone, I never want to be that annoying, too seeming desperate person, but I want to not leave it too long either. So is there kind of a golden rule there that you would recommend?
24 hours.
Okay.
24 hours. So if you're making an initial conversation, follow up within 24 hours. And then after that, follow up in 3 days, and then 7 days, and then 10 days.
Yeah. So leave it a little bit longer between each one.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That first 72 hours is your golden hour. Don't wait longer than 72, but within that 24 hours, you really want to give something that's of value, or say if you're in person, you definitely want to reach them within that first 24 hours.
Mhm.
So if it's on LinkedIn, the 24 hours is there as well, but you can go 48 if you're doing a LinkedIn type, because remember, people on LinkedIn are not on there all the time. Imagine me, I'm on there maybe 15, maybe maybe an hour and a half a day, if that, maybe, with my team saying yes. So yeah, maybe an hour on it a day. So
Yeah.
with that, knowing that within 24 hours, like somebody might respond in 48 hours on LinkedIn or 72 hours, and that's okay. If you're doing a networking event, you want to follow up within 24 hours. That is like a golden key on that. LinkedIn, 24 to 48, 24 to 72 hours, because they might not always be present. If they're following the same 15, 20-minute rule, you have to catch them that 15 minutes they're on, or maybe that 30 minutes that they're on, because they're not sitting on LinkedIn unless they're a recruiter.
Yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
What I found out with networking events is that if you don't reach out within the first 24 to 48 hours, they forget who you are. they totally forget who you are, and then when you contact them, they're wondering, why is this person contacting me?
Yeah.
The quicker, the better when it comes to networking. But I have a question about, I've been saving people on LinkedIn that are my targets.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't post.
No, some of them don't. And that's okay, because then you can just message them and use the messenger part of it. And then because they might not, and that's okay too. So those ones, when you message them, you want to make sure you connect with them first. Because remember, if you're not connected, the messaging does not go to them. So
Okay.
put the connection and just be like, hi, I'm broadening my network. I would love to, can you please say yes to my connection? So then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll hit yes. Sure. Because you're just broadening my network. And then a follow-up can go after that and be like, thank you. I really appreciate you accepting my invitation. I was looking over your profile and it really looks intriguing. I would love to learn more about it. Do you have a brochure or do you have something that I can have, especially because I know you're doing like the mental health like stuff. If it's a company, do you have a brochure or something that I can learn more about your company? And then the minute you're putting it back on them, they're like, they might think you need help. And then they're giving you all this information. You're like, oh my God, this is great. Would you mind if I share something that I think would be of interest, or I think that would be an added benefit to your company and what you can offer? Did you see it? That's not sleazy. I would love to do a collaboration. This is really intriguing. I can come up. Are you available to chat for 15 minutes? I would love to do a collaboration. This is what I can offer. Do you mind if I send you? Always ask permission. Do you mind if I can send you my brochure?
Awesome.
Yeah. Remember, when we come from a place of service and we ask for permission, people don't find us salesy. When people just throw information at you, you're just like, what the fuck? I didn't ask for anything. Like, thank you, and I'm not going to read it. But if you ask for permission and someone's like, yeah, I would love your free PDF, Bina. Great. Guess what? They're really going to read it. So when I get on a call or they read more stuff and then they're like, oh, whatever else, I was like, oh, you actually read it? Like, sometimes I'm surprised. I'm like, oh, you actually read that? They go, yeah, why wouldn't I? I was like, I don't know. They go, you asked if I would read it. I was like, yeah, but I didn't think you'd actually do it. But do you see how the psychology of it, if you ask permission, they're going to do it more relatively than somebody that you just like you're throwing them a book. I'm not going to read it. But if someone asked me like, hey, Bina, you know what? I just wrote this book. I would really love your input. Can I send it to you? Yeah, because they're valuing my input, but they're also respecting my time. Now people will come up, or it's instead of a conversation of, you know what? I wrote this book. Can I send it to you to read? Do you see how the ask is completely different? So always come from a place of service. That always wins. Yeah.
I have a question about the networking events. How do you find those? Is it like the same thing as LinkedIn where you have to fine tune that and specialize to figure it out? Or how do you?
No. So networking events, Chamber of Commerce has a lot of networking events. You'd be surprised. The local library has posts of,
I found mine on Meetup. If you go on Meetup, they
Yeah.
have a lot of local for your area, and
Yeah.
you can customize it to what group you want to look at or meet with.
neighborhood. What is that called? Neighborhood, the app?
Oh yeah, Neighbor or something like that. Yeah,
Neighbor. Is it
I
neighborhood?
got off. I think it was like I was on it for a bit, but I got
Yeah.
off of it because it
For
was
those
just
ones
too.
you can do, honestly, local libraries, they have a lot of stuff on there that you can look up and see. They do a lot of local stuff. Local farmers markets has a lot of local information there too.
Coffee
Mhm.
shops. A lot
Coffee
of local
shop.
coffee shops will
Yeah.
have them.
As you're passing through, like those would be the best spots, especially as a traveling nurse. If you're looking
Mhm.
at different areas, I would go to local farmers market and just ask, hey, we're gonna come, because you don't want to pay for a Chamber of Commerce everywhere you go. That will get expensive. But you can go to the Chamber of Commerce saying, hey, I'm just passing through the town. Is there any local events that are occurring that would be of interest of me? And they'll give
Okay.
you a list.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll give you a list. Sometimes the local farmers market is like key. They do a lot. There's a
Mhm.
lot of good information out there. And if you go to a local like farmers market, like really talk to every vendor, like
Mhm.
time, you're making like 15 connections right there.
Okay.
What is it that you do? Because they're there doing the same thing you're doing. They're hustling, they're selling their products. There comes in, you're like, hey, I'm just new to the town. Is there an area here where I'm a service-based provider? I really want to help whatever it is that you're doing with wellness that comes in. And you'd be surprised with how much people want to help by just asking for help. Sometimes, where else gives you like networking events? Chambers does a lot. And then like on LinkedIn and stuff, you can search local events on LinkedIn. You can search local events on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you type in events, there's a lot
Sure.
that's on Facebook. But also just remember that a lot of people ask me the number one question, how do I know what's a good networking event to go to? Guess what? There's no secret sauce. Go
You
to
don't.
go to them
Yeah.
all. Because you know what? Talk about your business. If you talk to your business about anyone and anyone, you go with the intention of opening your mouth. If you go to a farmer's market and you just walk around and you're looking for the best apple, I don't know why I chose apple, but you're looking for the best apple, and you passed 10 different vendors for that one best apple and you never found it, you just passed 10 different opportunities
Hmm.
because you're looking for that one apple. But if you go and you talk and you comes in and you're having conversations with people, you'd be surprised. You might get 10 apples from each store and they all taste different. But you've made a connection and now you've gotten that apple for free.
I would like to chime in here. 2 nights ago, I went to a chamber event. Chamber events are open to the public. They're not closed. You can go to any Chamber of Commerce event anywhere in the United States and they are open to the public.
Yep.
I went to a chamber, what they call a chamber mixer. I walked in, I saw a lady sitting by herself that I didn't know. I sat down next to her, found out that she'd only been in her job for 2 days. She was new to the area, and she was the philanthropist director for the hospital, and we only have one major hospital.
What?
So I talked to her. She gave me her email and all that kind of stuff. The next morning, I sent her an email saying, it was so nice to meet you, blah, 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 and stuff. If you need any, if I can help you in any way, since you're new to the community settling in, just write back. I'm now on her list of vendors for the biggest hospital event that they're going to have in the middle of summer.
Holy crap, congratulations.
So what I found out is that if you're doing community pieces in your community, there are community organizations like the Rotary or the Lions Club or the Elks.
Oh yeah.
All these different ones, yeah.
Okay. And these people are consistently looking for speakers in their community. And if you are service oriented, welcome you in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a good way to one connection leads to another connection, leads to another connection. And I found that works really well because it's opened a lot of doors for me. Just talking to somebody,
Yep.
even though they might not be in my target audience, they might know somebody that reflects on that audience and say, let me refer you to somebody that I think you should talk to. I had a conversation with a person who's in wellness that I didn't even know existed in my community. I invited them to have a 15, 20-minute coffee that lasted 3 hours. Now she's open to collaboration.
Yeah. So you just don't know.
You don't know what's going to happen. If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Mhm.
So I just go, I'm having a conversation and I really don't care about what the results are. I'm not here to sell you anything or do anything. We're just having a conversation. And that's it. I'm here to serve you to the best of my ability. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not trying to get you into my container. I'm not trying to get you into a cohort. I'm not trying to get you into anything. We're just having a conversation. This is what I do. If I can serve you in any way, let me know.
Yeah. Always come from a place of service. I was actually going to the nurse coaching retreat in North Carolina last year.
Oh, I wanted to go to that. Sorry.
I missed my flight.
Mm.
I missed my flight. Like my girlfriend was on the plane and I missed my flight and I had to go standby on the next flight. Now, I've never flown standby. I'm like, my shit is on the flight before. No, my stuff was on this flight for the standby flight. And I was asking the flight attendant, I was like, what happens to my luggage if I don't make it onto this flight? They go, oh, your stuff will be in North Carolina. I said, great. But what happens if I don't get there? And all the time they're like, oh, we'll figure it. It was this whole thing. So this lady, I sat down next to this lady and she was just like, oh, I fly standby all the time. If it comes up, they'll mail it back to you. Or if you end up in Texas, like it ends up being a little bit of a thing. I'm like, so lessons learned. This is why people don't put their luggage underneath. And she goes, yeah, by a lot of people, when you fly a lot, you have a travel bag where people don't put it. And people who fly standby don't have luggage for that reason. I was like, I didn't know that. And I was like, she goes, you've never flown standby before? And I was like, nope, never done. I was like, I told her about my morning, how the freeway was closed for 3 hours. Like, it was just a mess. And how I missed the other flight. I got there and I could have gone on the plane, but because I had a luggage, I couldn't get my luggage onto the airplane. Again, it's lessons learned, right? To find out, me and this girl were talking, lady, again, just like what Richard was talking about. We were just having conversations. She ends up being an HR director at this big, large cyber company. And I was telling her about the silent struggle solutions. We were sitting there chit-chatting. And then I was like, what is it that you do? And she goes, she starts laughing. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, at least someone's laughing. Like, at least someone's laughing here today. I can't get any worse than what that is, right, guys? And she says, no, actually, it's very intriguing, your story. And I was like, oh, why? And she goes, funny you say that. She goes, I'm an HR director. I actually flew here for this whole meeting and comes up. And then it was a call that I never followed up with her. That was my own bad because I was on the plane for 24 hours after this. But because comes in, I was able to talk to an HR director for the cyber company here locally in San Francisco, got her number. We emailed back and forth, but because of the follow-ups and comes in, they weren't interested at the time. But it was just nice to know. Same flight coming home. My friend sitting next to me, Sarah Johnson, love her. We're sitting there, and this girl, me and this lady start talking, chit-chatting. Now we're in that premium seat where you can get free alcohol.
Oh.
So we were sitting there chit-chat. I was like, screw this, we're drinking. Start having conversations. And she was like, what is it that you do? Intriguingly things. And I told her what I did. She goes, you know what? I would love to invite you somewhere. And I was like, oh, I would love to go. The answer was yes. Where are we going? DreamWorks for Salesforce. She is this marketing director for Dreamforce.
Damn.
Okay. And I was like, no shit. Literally. And she was serious. And I was like, no fucking shit. I'm like, no, I want to personally invite you. Can you come tomorrow? Whatever it was. And I was like, I am so sorry. She goes, what? I was like, as soon as I touch down, my husband is traveling. And unfortunately, I can't make it because of childcare. I can't do anything in the evening. She goes, great. Let's take a picture. 7 things. She goes, let's connect. She goes, I'm actually from Michigan or Wisconsin or whatever the other state it is in.
Illinois. Okay.
Illinois, wherever it is. I don't know. Michigan? I don't know. And me and her had multiple Zoom calls, and she sent me an email and she goes, okay, here's an email for the HR director for Salesforce. I'll connect the two of you. And we did. But again, it didn't go anywhere. But it's the fact of you just don't know who you're going to talk to, and always talk about your business. Ask them questions. What is it that you do? What is it I do? Networking is not just a place. Networking is 24 hours a day. Go to the grocery store, you go to Trader Joe's, you're out with your kids' moms. I don't care. Talk about your business. Because if you're not talking about it, you're beating a dead horse. Because you just don't know where your next client or next big opportunity is going to arise at all. And if they don't have an answer, just like Richard was saying, like with Dreamforce, right? There was a whole Dreamforce was a big thing all week. And I'm sitting there going, of course my husband has to travel. Of course it does. Of course it has to be at 6 o'clock at night in San Francisco. There's no way. There's just no way. But I didn't see it as a missed opportunity. I didn't sucker myself like, oh, that would have been so awesome. It comes in. And yeah, it would have been because Dreamforce, you have to be invited. You can't just go. And I still have her number, and every so often I'll just send her a text saying, hey, remember me? The girl who got drunk on the airplane window. And she does, like, she'll message and I'll be like, hey, just want to know. She goes, yeah, and either it goes somewhere or it doesn't. All I'm saying is that you don't know until you try. You won't know until you try.
I need to go. I have another call.
Oh, thank you, Richard.
Thank you all for letting me come in and be part of this. I hopefully get to meet all of you one day. So I'll talk to you soon, Bina.
All right.
Bye, Richard.
Bye.
I gotta hop off also, Bina,
We're
so
actually
I will
heading
talk
off.
to
It's
you next
already
week.
it's on the hour almost on the top of the hour anyways. Any other questions? Comes
Nope.
in.
Not from me.
Thank you, Bina.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Stephanie.
Thank
Bina.
you.
I
Thank
recognize
you.
that voice. Cassandra, I'll see you on Monday.
Yes, can't wait. I'm
Yes.
excited.
Oh, Stephanie, when are we talking? Oh, she's off. Up there
Oh,
she goes.
I'm here. I'm here. I just got off work.
Oh, I love the purple hair. Is it purple?
Almost. I have to hide my gray.
Oh, why are you hiding your gray? Let it go. Look at mine.
I'm not ready yet,
We have to have a conversation. I wasn't
but
ready
we'll
either.
definitely talk. I'll text you.
Yeah, let me know. I was happy to see you when I came up. I was like, ah, hey.
Sure will.
All right, guys.
Thank you, my
Thanks.
friend.
See you later,
Bye.
Bina.